Okay, recording.
Record. Okie dokies. I'm gonna skip the cold open just because I need to I need to not I need to
Yeah.
do that. Where'd that window go? There we go. Okay. Retro Static Radio proudly takes pleasure in bringing you a parade of outstanding thrillers, sci-fi, and horror. The most notable melodramas from stage and screen, fiction and radio, presented to bring you to the edge of your seat to keep you in dun 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 suspense. Good evening. This is Arthur Carey, and very happy am I to be with Retrostatic Radio tonight, alongside my friends and fellow voice actors in today's show. Do scene one. Everyone okay?
Hairball?
Apparently. when the time of the when the time of the closing bell rang in the public library, Alexander Bonaparte Cust started. I think I changed the last name from Cuss to something else later on in the script. We'll see. When the time of the closing bell rang in the public library, Alexander Bonaparte Cust started started picked up his battered briefcase with the almost faded initials ABC. Alexander closed the book he had been reading and shuffled over to the librarian's desk.
Shuffle, 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 shuffle. It's a most interesting book, librarian. I shall have to come back sometime and read another chapter of it, if I may.
One moment, Mr. Crow. I'll set this off to the side for you, sir.
Thank you, librarian. I'll be going now.
Take care, sir. I wonder what he was reading. Studies in epileptics. Oh,
Somnambulism.
Okay. Take care, sir. I wonder what he was reading. Studies in epileptic somnambulism.
Medical stuff, huh? Oh, that little fellow left his briefcase. Sir! Sir! Just wait a minute, you left something.
Oh, dear. It's my briefcase. I'm terribly sorry. I seem to be getting more and more forgetful these days. Why, only the other day I left it in the couch at the tobacconist's.
Tobacconist!
I
To
want
not.
to say tobacconist.
Well, it's tobacconist! It's fine, I was mostly teasing. Hold on, Thorpe. Okay. Well, luckily you have those initials. ABC. Not many people have that, you know. Sticks in your mind.
What do you mean by that, sir?
Well, after all, there's the first three letters of the alphabet. Practically the first thing we were taught, our ABCs.
Don't mention those letters to me. They've brought me nothing but bad luck in more ways than one.
How do you mean?
I used to be a traveling salesman, and I used to carry one of those railway town tables, in which they list the town and times in alphabetical order.
Oh, right. Right on the cover. ABC.
Yes, that's right, sir. Stockings were my line, and I'd go door to door selling. And when I'd finished one town, I'd pull out that next timetable and I'd look up the next town on my route. I got sick of the sight of the Alexander Railway Guide.
ABC.
That's
I
not
did.
what it says.
I know. It's because I did a correction when I
I
originally the
had a
character's name was
feeling.
ABC.
Yeah, I had a
So
feeling. So,
I'll just go back
but
to got sick of the site.
mhm. I got sick of the sight of the ABC Railway Guide. I can tell you, a list of failures more like. One dingy little town after another listed in that railway guide, my own initials staring out at me from every newsstand and railroad station in the Midlands.
Oh, it couldn't be as bad as all that.
Matter of fact, I didn't even notice it until I began to get the headaches.
Oh, you suffer from headaches, huh?
Yes, sir.
Hmm. Have you seen a doctor about it?
No, I wouldn't want to see a doctor about it. I already know what brings them on.
Well, if you'd prefer not to talk about it, we can...
No. It isn't that at all, sir. It was just so long ago. During the last war, in fact.
Oh, I was in the thick of it myself. We should get together for a drink sometime to talk over old times. Franklin Carter is my name.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Okay, hang on. Before we
Franklin
go any
Clark, I
further.
was wrong.
Right. Also, now it's Alexander Crow, not Cuss.
Okay, it is.
Are we
Okay,
doing Crow or Cuss?
we're doing Crow, not Cuss. Crow sounds better than Cuss.
It does, but
Like I said, I
wanted
thought
to
I
make sure. Yes,
told you
know
I
you said.
changed it. Okay.
I wanted to make sure which one we were doing. That's all.
Let me start from me saying the wrong name. Franklin Clark's my name. Is that the accent I was doing?
I don't know.
It's kind of your voice.
Oh, I was in the thick of it myself. We should get together for a drink sometime and, talk over old times. Franklin Clark's my name.
Pleased to meet you, Mr. Clark. My name's Crow. Alexander Bonaparte Crow.
Wow. They must have expected great things from you if they gave you a name like that.
Yes, they did, sir. They did, and I'm very much afraid they did.
Dun, dun, dun. And this is you, Megan, for Marbury.
Mr. Crow. Oh, Mr. Crow.
Who is it?
It's me, Mr. Crow. I've brought you a spot of tea.
Oh, it's you, Miss Marbury. That was very thoughtful of you.
Oh, nonsense. You know, Mother dotes on you. You're her favorite lodger. In fact, why, Mr. Crow, you're packing your things. You're not leaving us, are you?
Nothing of the sort. I'm just taking a trip over the bank holiday is all.
Now, don't try to deceive me, Mr. Crow. You're embarrassed, aren't you? About owing us.
No,
Oh, you needn't be, Mr. Crow. Really, you needn't.
You are a nice girl, Miss Marbury. You really are. As a matter of fact, I'm not going on just for the bank holiday. I've got something important.
Oh?
Some very important matters to take care of. It's very possible my mother didn't have me christened Alexander Bonaparte Crow for nothing.
Oh, have you got a position? Oh, have you got a position, Mr. Crow? Oh, what is it? You can tell me, can't you?
Well, I can tell you this much. I'll be traveling a lot, that's for certain. In fact, where'd I leave that ABC travel guide? Oh, here it is. First stop is Andover.
Andover? That's not very far.
No, it isn't. But I have to be getting on if I don't want to miss that train. Do I have everything? Let's see. I've got my spectacles, overcoat, typewriter, walking stick. Did I ever tell you the history of this walking stick?
No.
It's a Scottish piece, very old and antique. They used to use these sticks to kill people during the old clan wars in Scotland. I wonder how many heads this one has bashed in.
Oh, Mr. Crow, please, that's a terrible way to talk.
Oh, you're right, Miss Marbury. I'm sorry. I'm surprised at myself talking like that. It's the new job. I'm just excited. It's gone to my head. It's gone to my head. You don't have any aspirin by chance, do you?
Dun dun dun. So that's what it's like when I don't have to talk for hours.
Yeah.
You sit there and you're quiet.
Now, how cockney do you want to be with Olivia?
Okay, wait. So who's playing who? Olivia, Inspector, Mackenzie.
Well, Inspector and Mackenzie can be me and Zach.
Okay.
You're clearly Olivia.
Right. Okay.
Oh wait,
All
no.
right.
Technically, didn't we want to have Zach
I thought
play Olivia?
I thought I was gonna be Olivia.
Oh, yes. Okay.
You don't get to scream though. I don't think.
It's
Oh,
okay.
No, you can do your. Okay.
Do you want Joe Friday then back
I
for
would
one
like
of the...
for the inspector go for Joe Friday.
Okay.
Let's
all
have
right.
some fun here.
Okay.
All right, we ready?
Yep.
Ready,
Yes, gentlemen. What will it be?
Mrs. Lovett's meat pies.
Packet of gold flakes for me.
Of course, of course. And for the other gentleman?
3 Havanas, Cuban cigars.
Havanas. You two must be up from London.
That's...
Okay.
That's right, ma'am. Is that your name on the window of the shop?
That's right, sir. Olivia Asher. Been in business here in Andover, right here in St. Andrew's Place for 20 years.
All A's.
Andover, St. Andrew's Place, and Dasher.
Funny, ain't it? Never even crossed me mind before.
Well, Mrs. Asher, we're from Scotland Yard. We have reason to believe there may be a homicidal maniac at large in Andover.
Good Lord!
We don't want to frighten you, Mrs. Asher. For all we know, this could just be a practical joke. You see, we received a letter, typewritten, and signed ABC.
ABC?
This murder, if there's anything to his story, he's planning a series of murders. His mania seems to be centered on the alphabet.
If he follows through with his plan, his first murder will be here in Andover, and the victim will be a victim that begins with an A.
Oh, you don't think?
We don't think anything. Scotland Yard is taking precautions.
Oh, a woman takes terrible chances.
Oh, there's probably nothing to be alarmed about. Just keep a sharp lookout. Who's next on your list, Mackenzie?
Arthur Atwood.
All right. Let's be on our way then. Good day, Mrs. Asher.
Don't worry, ma'am. Take care.
Thank you, sirs. A good day to you too, sirs.
Ding-a-ding-a-ding.
A murderer right here in Andover of all places.
Ding-a-ding-a-ding.
Oh, yes, sir. What will it be for you? Oh, these? Yes, sir. That'll be 1 and 6, please. I said that'll be 1P6, sir. Look, sir, if... No!
And scene.
Question.
Yeah.
Should I make mine a little bit more British for Scotland Yard?
No, I think that was fine. I think I shouldn't have gone orc.
Okay.
You know whose voice I was doing there,
Because you
didn't
were
ya?
starting to go that way, and I was like, oh.
I didn't know where it was going until like 4 or 5 lines in. I might have to retake my first couple just to read.
Okay.
It's all
But-
for me grog.
So I was okay, or...
I liked it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and
All
of
right.
course we have one special newsie. There's only one person who can be a newsie.
Who's that?
You!
Oh.
You are newsies! You are the
Okay.
newsies!
Okay. Extra! Evening newspaper! Sensation! Homicidal maniac strikes in Andover. Alphabet murderer to strike next in Bexel. Latest on ABC murders.
Boy. Hey, boy. Let me have one of those.
Oh, yes, sir. News the standard, sir.
Both. Thank you. Here you go, kid.
Thank you, sir. Extra! Evening papers! Homicidal maniac strikes in Andover.
Nasty business, ain't it, mister?
What? Oh, yes.
Never
Very.
know what it. Oh, sorry. My
just
Dick
gonna
Van
cut
Dyke is
me off,
showing.
huh? You're just gonna cut me off, huh?
It's not like you're a murderer or nothing, right, sir?
Oh, no, no. What's your name, by the way?
Well, I think I'm a chimney sweep. Bert! Bert's my name! Sorry.
Ah, Bert. Perfect.
No! No! No!
Yep,
I
right there
couldn't,
on
by
the
the way, I could not
on the
remember
street.
the character's name from Mary Poppins.
It's Bert.
I thought so. That's.
All right. Anyways,
Oh, hey, where were we? I'll start with mine just because I didn't mean to cut you off there.
it's okay.
Nasty business, eh, mister?
What? Oh, yes. Very.
Never know with them lunatics. They don't always look balmy, you know? I'm going to retake that. You never know with them lunatics. They don't always look balmy, you know? Sometimes they look at the same as you or me.
Yes, I suppose so.
Oh, it's a fact, sir. Sometimes it's the war unhinges them. Never been right since.
I expect you're right.
You know, don't always hold with wars. I hope this one will be the last.
You don't hold with wars. Well, young man, I don't hold with plague and sleeping sickness and famine, cancer. But they happen all the same, and murders happen all the same. They can't prevent them.
I'm sorry, sir. I suspect you had a rough time in the last one, eh?
Yes, yes, my poor head's never been the same since. I get terrible headaches.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Sometimes I don't hardly know what I'm doing.
You don't say.
I forget things. You know, for instance, I could have sworn I had an ABC railway guide in my pocket an hour ago.
You do know they found one of them ABC railway guides on the poor tobacconist lady that he murdered.
Who?
1 second.
Sir, sir, I believe your phone is ringing.
But is it straight? Well, that alphabet fella, whoever he is, maybe he don't even know himself. Ever stop to think of that? Maybe he's so balmy he don't understand. Don't remember. Don't do nothing.
I wonder.
Train for Waddingham's, Bexels, and Dorchester.
Bexel? Did he say Bexel? That's my train. Well, goodbye, young man.
Take care.
I'll remember you.
I have powers, George.
Evening edition. Sensational homicidal lunatic to strike again. Police tracking typewriter and which murder. Wow, let me do that. Okay. Evening edition. Sensational homicidal lunatic to strike again. Police tracking typewriter on which murder notes were written. To strike at Bexel. Latest on ABC Alphabet Murderer.
Oh, Mary isn't Marbury. Mary's the next victim.
May I have your order, please?
Well, I don't think I'll have ham. I had it for breakfast. I think I'll have the mutton pie.
One shepherd's pie. Yes, sir.
No, ma'am. Mutton pie, not shepherd's.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. One mutton pie.
Is everything all right? You seem nervous. You're trembling. Is everything all right? You seem nervous. You're trembling young woman. It wasn't that big of a mistake.
Oh, sir, if you only knew. I have to walk home tonight. After they close up here, and there's hardly a light. Oh, sir, if only you knew. I have to walk home tonight. After they close up here, and there's hardly a light in Benson Terrace where I live.
Benson Terrace in Bexel?
Yes, sir.
You're afraid of that alphabet murderer.
He follows the alphabet, don't he? There. He follows the alphabet, doesn't he? That was the way he done it in Andover.
Ah, I take it your name begins with a B?
Bernard's my name. Mary Bernard.
Oh, dear me, Miss Bernard. Well, I don't like to appear forward. Well, anyways, I'm old enough to be your father. Would it make it easier if I saw you home tonight?
Oh, you don't know, sir. You just don't know how much it mean to me.
So what time do they close this place up?
9 o'clock.
Then I'll take that mutton pie and wait for you outside when I'm finished. See you at 9 o'clock.
Dun, dun, dun!
Mmm.
Let us leave the scene of our play for a moment and take a little journey. What? What ad was I even thinking about for there?
Oh,
Music
my
now.
poor throat.
Music swells.
Latest! Waitress brutally murdered in Bexhill. ABC strikes again. Here you are, sir. Scotland Yard received third murder note. Alphabet murderer to strike again in Churston.
Give me a pint of half and half, please.
Sure thing, sir. There you are, sir. You're from London, eh? This is too close to my investigative voice. Kind of.
Yeah.
I'm gonna retake that.
Okay.
Oh, here you go, sir. Sure thing, sir. There you are, sir. Up from London, eh?
Yes. I came direct from London.
Salesman, eh?
Stockings is my line.
Yeah, rough going these days must be. What with the rationing? Also think I turned into Dick Van Dyke there. I started Irish.
You did, and then you did.
Oh, salesman, eh? Stocking is nice.
No, stockings is my line.
Rough going on these days must be. What with the rationing and all, eh? Oh, hey, apparently we should have had... Let's restart. Have Megan be the bartender. I want
Okay.
your uproarious Scottish or Irish accent. Megan? Megan?
Are you here? Am I here?
You're here now, yes.
Okay. Oh, I think I pressed on my headset to mute it. So.
Okay.
Oh. Okay. So
So
we'll start back from give me a pint and half,
All right.
please.
Yeah.
Okay. Give me a pint of half and half, please.
Sure thing, sir.
That was neither Irish or Scottish. That was your newsie. The newsie cannot be the bartender.
Sure thing. Sure thing, sir.
Young
Irish.
man, should you be in this bar?
Think-
I need a sure thing, sir. There you are, sir. Up from London, eh?
Yes. I came direct from London.
Salesman.
Stockings is my line.
Rough going these days must be. What with the rationing and all, eh?
Well, well, well. If it isn't my favorite old friend, Alexander Bonaparte Crow.
I'm sorry? I'm afraid I don't recognize you.
We met in the library, remember?
Oh?
Yeah, right over in London. Had quite a talk, too.
Yes.
Franklin Clark. Ringing any bells?
Yes, of course. Forgive me, Mr. Clark. My memory, it seems to be getting worse and worse.
Yeah, you must have come under better times, Mr. Crow. New briefcase, I see. Nice bright new initials.
Well, I did get a job shortly after I saw you, Mr. Clark. From Ballinger Limited. Stockings, my old line. You know, but to tell you the truth, I haven't been doing very well.
Oh, Those headaches again?
Yes, the headaches and the murders. The murders have upset me something terrible.
Oh, they must. You're shaking like a leaf just thinking about 'em. Hey, Johnny, brandy for Mr. Crow here. He needs it.
Right away, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
The trouble with you, Crow, is you're inclined to be morbid. I remember that book you were reading the day we met. Stuff about epilepsy.
Well, it might be epilepsy, mightn't it?
What?
Well, they discharged me from the army before the war ended, you see. I had kind of a fit, you know?
Um, sorry. I had a burp there. I'm sorry. Never had anything like it again, though, have you?
No, I didn't have a fit again, just the headaches. I forget what happens, hours at a time. Do you know, once I was sitting in a station waiting room and a newsboy came by and I bought a paper from him. It was all about the first murder in Andover. It said the police had gotten another note, another typewritten note, Mr. Clark. And the next murder was going to and the murderer was going to strike next in Bexel, and suddenly I realized I was in Bexel.
Hmm.
And I'd been in Andover the day before where the first murder happened.
So how did you happen to go from Andover to from? So how did you happen to go from Andover from Bexel?
Well, that's the way I'm supposed to go on my route, selling the stockings. I'm supposed to take the towns alphabetically.
Oh, well, there you have it. It's not so surprising you should have been in Bexel after all, is it? Just a coincidence.
There's more. The waitress in Bexel then, I walked home with her that night, Mr. Clark. The night she was murdered.
Good heavens, Crow. Whoa. Good heavens, Crow. You don't think you killed Mary Barnard, do you? Bernard?
I I don't know, Mr. Clark. It said in that book that people who have had epileptic fits often. Sorry, bumped my mic. I don't know, Mr. Clark. It said in that book that people who have epileptic fits often do things they don't remember. They even commit crimes. I said goodnight to her, and after that, I don't know what happened.
The notes, though. Those typewritten notes. Wouldn't you have remembered if you'd written them?
I don't know.
Well, I know a little something about psychology myself, Crow. And I'd stake everything I owned on the fact that the man who wrote those notes was conscious of what he was doing.
Do you really think so, Mr. Clark?
Positive of it. Now pull yourself together, man. Incidentally, my sister-in-law lives here in Chester. My brother is Lord Cameron Clark,
Oh.
and I happen to know that she may need some new stockings.
Oh.
We'll pop over there in the morning, will you? And show the old girl your line.
Huh?
Here's the address. Might cheer you up to make a good sale.
Oh, I'm sure it would, Mr. Clark. I'm sure it would. Well, good night, Mr. Clark. And thank you again for all your kindness. I'm sure, sir.
Oh, never a problem. You're welcome. Hey, wait a minute. You forgot something here.
Oh, oh dear me, my typewriter. I shall certainly be needing it. Thank you.
Oh?
As to type up my report to make the as to type up my report to the home office in case I should make that sale tomorrow.
Oh, yes, Of course, yes. By the way, Crow, better watch out. Somebody in Churston. Oh, apparently we're in Churston, not Chester.
Oh.
I don't know where we are anymore.
I don't know British
So,
geography.
somebody in Churston is going to be murdered tomorrow.
Oh.
Old ABC is up to the letter C, you know. Well, and your name is Crow.
Then be careful yourself, Mr. Clark.
Bum, bum, bum.
Thank you again so much for your generous order, Lady Clark. I can only hope you'll be pleased. This line of linen stocking is one of the. Thank you again so much for the generous order, Lady Clark. I can only hope you'll be pleased. This line of linen stocking is one of Ballinger's best buys right now, Lady Clark.
My brother-in-law tells me that you've had some unfortunate times lately, Mr. Crow.
Yes, ma'am.
But you were a lucky break for me. I really did need the stockings, and I shall.
Hello again, Crow.
Hello, Mr. Clark. How are you?
Oh, I've been stuffing myself with bacon and eggs, so I'm pretty good. How about yourself? Make your sales, old boy?
Oh, yes, Mr. Clark. Thank you very much.
Good, good. Louise is filthy with money, and her ladyship's legs are in constant need of recovering.
Oh, I would. Oh, I wouldn't say that, sir.
Well, she wanted the stockings, didn't she?
Thank you very much either way, milady. I hope I shall have the privilege of serving you again next year.
Goodbye, Mr. Crow, and good luck.
Cheerio, Clark. No, I'm
No.
Clark. Cheerio, Crow.
Are we sure you're not the one who's messed up in the head?
Don't spoil it.
Shh.
Such a nice little man, Franklin.
Well, he is a bit off his nut, I'm afraid. Last night he tried to convince me that he was the ABC murderer. His initials, you know. And he has some minor lapses of memory.
That little man, a murderer. Oh, really, Franklin.
Good Lord, what was that?
What is it, girl? What's going on? The, the master, Lord Clark, he's been murdered, stabbed. Blood, so much blood. No, it can't be. It can't. Oh, gosh, no. Ah!
Look, on the floor. A railway guide. The ABC murderer.
Oh.
Come now, Luis. Let's get you downstairs. I'm sorry you had to see that.
Oh, Cameron, my poor Cameron. He never made an enemy in his life.
The man who did this was a maniac. I'm afraid I know who he is. Always carried a walking stick with a heavily carved hand. The man who did this is a maniac, and I'm afraid I know who it is. He always carried a walking stick with a heavy carved handle. That's how the other murders were committed, with a heavy stick. But he wasn't carrying his stick today. Must have grabbed a knife up there somewhere to kill Cameron with. But when? Were you with him every minute?
Well, I went upstairs to get my checkbook. It took me a little while to find it.
That gave Crow the opportunity.
Oh, to think that all that time. Oh, no. I'll never forgive myself, Franklin.
No, no, no. None of that now, Luis. The important thing now is to stop him before he commits another murder.
But what are you going to do, Franklin?
I'm going to the police and see if they'll help me. Let's have a look at this ABC railway guide he left beside poor Cameron. Look here, all checked. See there? Andover, Bexel, Churston, each with a check mark after it.
Oh,
Now, where's the next one? See, London. He's through with ABC. He's gone home, and I'm going after him. Dun dun dun. Bring
Ding
bring.
dong. Oh, Mr. Crow, come in. What has kept you away so long?
Lily, I've got to talk to you. Alone.
Oh, well, I'll go up with you then. I want to show you the new curtains I placed in your room anyway.
Oh, you are such a nice girl, Lily. Really, such a nice girl.
Here, let me at least carry one of your bags. Your typewriter, perhaps.
No. I'll carry my own things. Thank you.
Oh my, Mr. Crow, you're trembling terribly. You look such a fright.
I am a fright.
Let me go draw a hot bath before we talk.
No! Not now. Please. Not now. Lily, there isn't time for that.
What is the matter then, Mr. Crow?
Close the door. Lock it.
Are you in some sort of trouble, Mr. Crow?
I am in terrible trouble. I want you to hear the story first from me. You're the only one who has been my friend. Oh, I've had a very lonely life, Lily.
There, Mr. Crow.
Poor Mr. Crow. That's what they always say about me. Poor Mr. Crow. I thought you were different.
Now don't say that, Mr. Crow. It was only a manner of speaking.
Oh, you needn't worry. I'm all right now. I never get 2 spells in one day.
Spells? Mr. Crow, I don't understand. What do you mean?
You've heard of the alphabet murderer.
Shocking affairs, that. But, Mr. Crow, what do you...
Lily, the police will be here at any minute. Please, let me finish. I don't want you to think harshly of me, Miss Marbury. I didn't plan it ahead. My instructions told me where to go. Some people can't help what they do. There are diseases, epilepsy, for instance. You do things you can't remember. You commit crimes, and I'm like that.
I can't believe it.
When I was a child, they used to badger me about my name. My mother worshipped strength. She named me after the strongest people she knew about in history, Alexander and Bonaparte. But nobody ever called me by those names. They called me ABC. ABC. I used to dream I was boiling in a kettle of alphabet soup. It was a terrible disappointment to my mother.
Mr. Crow, you're upset and tired.
You must hear me out, Lily.
Ouch, my arm! You're hurting me!
Now listen to me, Lily. I could have been a hero once in the army in the last war. I was happy. I could have made something of myself. Then I started getting the headaches.
Let me go! Please, Mr. Crow!
You must hear me out, Lily. I started forgetting things after they discharged me from the army. Shock, they called it. I used to have dreams. I was a great ruler. The destiny of men was in my hands. I had the power over them of life and death.
Please, Mr. Crow.
First, there was Andover, the tobacconist. I can't even remember what she looked like. Then there was Bexel. I walked home with the waitress from the station restaurant. She was murdered too. In Churston, I sold a dozen pairs of stockings to a lady, and while she was upstairs getting her checkbook, her husband was murdered on the floor where I was waiting. And now I've come back here. Maybe the alphabet curse is over, or is it? This is London. L. Your name is Lily.
Are you... You're just trying to frighten me.
I'm trying to convince you.
You, a murderer. I could never believe it. You would never.
What about this then? Look at it.
No, 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 no.
Look closely at it. I found it in my briefcase when I came on the train, Miss Lily. This knife murdered a man in Churston just 3 hours ago.
No, no, no!
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Da 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 da. Wah, wah. Music faded into crying.
Now, there, Miss Marbury. You needn't worry now. He's all locked up, pretty as you please, in the next room. But he was such a nice man. I still can't hardly believe it.
Is this a knife he threatened you with, Miss Marbury?
Yes,
Well, we got here in the nick of time, eh? That's a wicked-looking knife. It's the Churston murder knife, right enough, Mr. Clark. No doubt about it.
let's take inventory then, Mackenzie. Typewriter,
Checks with the murder notes.
walking stick,
Same markings on the heads of the first victims.
and the psychiatrist's report says the murders were premeditated and the notes could not possibly have been written except by a person who was conscious and in his right mind.
Well, that breaks it. Yeah. Well, that breaks down any idea that Crow may have had a venturing. Wow. Well, that breaks down any idea that Crow may have had of enter. Why can't I? Okay. Well, that breaks down any idea that Crow may have had of entering an insanity plea.
Right. I think he'll have that. Right. I think he'll sign a confession without any difficulty. Bring him in. Well, Crow, are you ready to sign a confession?
I don't know, Inspector. A moment ago, I was certain I must have done it. But why? That's what worries me. Why? Mr. Clark, why do you think I did it?
You're wasting valuable time, Crow. I don't care why you did it. You killed my brother, and I want you hanged for it. Yeah, you heard me. You're wasting valuable time, Crow. I don't care why you did it. You killed my brother, and I want to see you hanged for it. I don't care how balmy you are.
You ought to be ashamed of yourself, talking to our Mr. Crow in that bloodthirsty manner. I don't know what's getting into the gentry, I'm sure.
He tried to murder you, didn't he?
He couldn't help himself. Poor thing, he's been terribly upset of late.
You really are such a nice girl, Lily. Really a nice girl.
The murders were willful and premeditated.
They couldn't have been premeditated, Mr. Clark,
Oh, really? Why do you say that, Mr. Crow?
because I didn't go to any of those places of my own choice. I had my instructions from Ballinger's Limited, and those instructions were sent to me after the police got the warnings of the murders that were printed in the papers.
There were never any such instructions.
They ransacked all your things, Crow. There wasn't any letters of instructions, was there, Inspector?
No,
Yes, there was.
we'll make it simple. We'll just ring up a that. We'll make it simple. We'll just ring up Ballinger's. May I use your telephone, Miss Marbury? Certainly, Inspector.
The number is Regent 3313, Inspector.
Get the evidence squared away, Mackenzie.
Righto, sir.
Yes. Ballinger's, put me through to personnel, please. Yes, this is Inspector Cromwell of Scotland Yard. At what day did you employ a commercial traveler named Alexander Bonaparte Crow? No, Crow. A.B. Crow. Initials ABC. Yes, yes. Never employed by you? You are absolutely certain? Did you send a man to Andover or Bexel last week? Not on your route. Thank you. That's all I wanted to know.
Too bad, Crow. I guess this knocks out your last ghost of a chance, doesn't it?
No, Mr. Clark, because you see, the instructions were in a letter, and that letter is right in this room.
Well, let's have a look then. Come on, Mackenzie, give me a hand. Let's go through these things again.
It won't do you any good to look there, Mr. Clark. I have the letter. Would you like to see it, Mr. Cromwell? It's here.
Well, I'll be. Where'd you get that?
Wasn't on him, Inspector. I'll swear to it. Where'd you have that thing hidden?
Well, Inspector, it isn't generally known, but I do wear a small hairpiece. Not out of vanity, mind you. I find it necessary for the business end.
Let's see the letter then.
Gladly.
Dear Mr. Crow, enclosed you'll find advance, and a typewriter is being posted today. You will...
What a lot of nonsense, Inspector. Look at the typeface of that letter. It's obviously written on Crow's typewriter.
Yes, that's right, Mr. Clark. And the man who wrote that letter was the murderer. Cool as you like, he sent the typewriter to me, and instructions on one of Ballinger's letterheads, and the money and everything else.
What kind of stunt are you trying to pull here, Crow?
No stunt. It's just that when you made that telephone call, Inspector, and Ballinger said I'd never worked for them, I knew that the typewriter must have been sent to me by the murderer. And the more I thought about it, the more it seemed to me that the murderer must be Mr. Clark.
What? That is utter nonsense. Inspector, really,
The murderer would have to have known something about me. Something I'd never confided to anyone but Mr. Clark about about my headaches. I'd been reading a book in the public library, Inspector, and a book on epilepsy. And it seemed to me that what I suffered during the last war might have been epilepsy, and it was on my mind. And it said that epileptics might commit crimes and not remember them under certain conditions. Without that to go on, the murderer couldn't possibly have pinned the crime on me.
That works two ways, Crow. You might have told me that story deliberately, just so that you could cook up this story now.
I couldn't cook up your fingerprints, Mr. Clark, and I'll wager anything your fingerprints are on that letter.
Come on, really?
Well, that's easily settled. We can do it right here. Won't take but a moment. Take a set of Mr. Clark's fingerprints, Mackenzie. You examine the prints on the letter meantime.
All right, Inspector. Just press your fingers down firmly on this ink pad, Mr. Clark. What is it, Mr. Clark? It's really quite simple. Yes, it's so simple it isn't even necessary.
I'm afraid this is necessary, Mr. Clark. Only a matter of routine, you know.
I tell you it isn't necessary because... Crow's right. I am the murderer.
You? You killed your brother, Cameron Clark, so that you would inherit the estate.
Exactly. But the others, A in Andover, B in Bexel, yes, I committed them all. Now come on, gentlemen, don't look at me so bewildered. Surely you'd give me credit for thinking this thing through. If only my brother, Lord Clark, had been murdered, I, being the only heir, would have a lot of explaining to do. So I vented my own little crime wave to make it appear as though he were just one of the victims of a homicidal maniac. And I must say, it almost came off, thanks to the unknowing cooperation of Mr. Crow here. Thank you just the same, Mr. Crow.
No, Mr. Clark, thank you.
Da 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 da.
Oh, she
Oof.
was heavy.
How that? Okay, so we breezed through the fucking Duffies, but that feel like an hour of recording.
Yep.
That feel like its own thing.
It was only like half an hour, but yep.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's only, 32 pages, so maybe 35 minutes tops? Then.
What then?
I really almost saved it as Alexander just to be an ass.
Ah, the Alexander murders.
The Alexander murders.
Now then. We've been recording for 2 hours, roughly?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wait, I've got to kill that recording, too.